sir.
Good evening.
If I could swear you in, please. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I do.
Name and address for the record.
Mike Story, 6095 Gale Lane, Indian Head, Maryland.
Okay.
Which is Rising Acres, which is fairly adjacent to the proposed site. You said you didn't want repeating, and you're going to hear a lot of that, so I think I'll add some bona fides. I spent 20 years in Navy Special Warfare. I am intimately familiar with weapons. After that, I went to diplomatic security, and I ran the demolition and firing range for diplomatic security. The contention that the berms will reduce the noise is somewhat nebulous. We had burns at our ranges in West Virginia, which is where we did our requalifications at Bill Scott Raceways, just west of Winchester. The closest group of houses to that range was just under a half a mile. When we took the agents up there to requal, Bill Scott got continuous complaints because it was rapid fire, anything from large caliber to pistol. And we teach them combat loads, so you're fired as fast as you can, drop your clip, slap another clip in there. The premise of putting a shelter over the shooters is good, but that's for their protection and not from the report that comes out of the end of that barrel. You're still going to get a lot of noise out of there. The premise of putting sand on the berms is a well-known procedure for keeping the lead from defragging and trying to keep it intact. We, Department of State, and every other range I've had that I've been associated with through Spec War community, we clean those ranges every 3 months. And I sifted more lead than I shot down range. We did that for hours. The reason for that is ground contamination, groundwater contamination. You can't let it sit there. The concern here is all of us within that area, Rising Acres, which there's Gale Lane and Cindy Lane, everybody out there is on a well, as opposed to their previous site where people were on city water. There are only 7 of us that I know of that put in deep wells. Everybody else is on a shallow well, which is 40 to 60 feet. That's where you get your biggest preponderance of groundwater contamination. So there is a noise aspect, and I appreciate everything that they've told you about the range safety is applaudable. That's what you have to do. You control your range. I have been an RSO, and I've been the one flat on the deck when that baby agent turns around with a loaded weapon going, something's misfired. That happens, and an RSO can't stop that. My concern is whether it's pistol or long rifle, and 87% of the people are right-handed, and if you have a long rifle and you have a misfire and you're on target, you go off target. So now you're pointed above that burn. The closest house from the corner of this proposed site to Cindy Lane is 1,900 feet. According to that scale down there, I took a pair of dividers and checked it. If we're firing 30-30, and it's going to vary, so I'll give the variables. 30-30, 223, 7.62, 30-06, depending on the load, depending on the type of round, whether it's ball, ballistic, pistol, hollow point, that type of thing. For rifles, you're looking at anything from 800 meters to 1,000 meters of range there. So that's 2,640 feet to 3,000 feet. Those houses and numerous other houses on Small West Church Road are well within that circumference. pistols, you ought to be fine with those. You know, I don't see any problem there. Shotguns, you know, you're looking, even with a slug, you're looking at 200 yards if you're good. But the long guns are a consideration.
Okay.
So I'm sure a lot of other people are going to have more to say, but there is going to be a noise factor there. I don't see any noise studies. I don't see any groundwater contamination studies, and we don't want to put 10 years down the road say, well, we should have done this. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.